Okay, in this video, I'll be showing how to automatically store the configs on your server or workstation under version control, and how to automatically commit those changes to those configs up to a Git repo, and automatically restore all of your configs from that Git repo every time you reload your machine without storing your SSH keys on your remote server. And there's going to be several bits of technology that I use to demonstrate this. One of them is going to be ssh-agent forwarding, and then the other is going to be a Git bare repo. And finally, we're going to use Ansible to make all of this come together. So to give you an idea of where we are going, this is a Git repo that I have, which just stores the config files for a test VM. And it's got several branches. You can see it's a private repo that will become important later. And it's got a branch for configs as the root user. So I've got a bash rc for the root user with some aliases and things like that. And then I've also got sudo users branch. I've also got a bash rc for the sudo user and a git config. The main branch only holds the README, which would have personal notes to myself for how to deploy this in the future. I have this Ansible playbook. And all it does, you can see it's not that long, 74 lines, and it could be refactored and decomposed into roles, but it just clones the configs, applies the configs for both the root user and what I call the sudo user, which in this case is a user named Connor, which you SSH into normally, and you can use sudo to escalate privileges as needed. And it's worth noting that I'm going to be demonstrating this in the context of Linux server administration, but all of these techniques would work if you run Linux on the desktop as well. So the first thing is I'm going to SSH. Well, first off, I'll be using a virtual machine running in Virt Manager, which is running on Ubuntu 20.04. I have, let's see, I've copied my SSH keys to this machine, but I haven't copied any of the configs. I haven't applied any of the steps in that Ansible playbook. And I'll demonstrate that for you here. So if I SSH, and I do have, let's see. Yeah, so I do have in my SSH config these settings here, which allows me to just SSH to the name and then connect into the server. Now, I don't have a git config. My bash rc doesn't end with those aliases. And I don't have any SSH keys for GitHub or for anything else. However, if I were to try and clone this private repo here, we'll see that it works. Now, how did I do that? Well, the way that I did that is with ssh-agent forwarding. If I go over to this terminal window and I look at my bash rc, these two commands here, we actually don't need these. These two commands here set up an SSH agent, which stores your SSH keys in your RAM, and then this starts the SSH agent. This adds my GitHub SSH key into the user agent. You can do this from the shell as well by typing rmvim swap. Okay. By typing these commands here into your shell, you'll get these the SSH agent for the one session, but in order to have it happen all the time on an interactive shell, you need to add them into your bash rc. And you can see what keys are added by doing ssh add tac-l. And if you've done this correctly, you'll see the fingerprint, and the fingerprint isn't a private thing, so this isn't actually my key, but this will tell me which keys are added there. And I've done the same thing in the Connor user on my laptop, as well as the Ansible user on my laptop. And then if you have what I showed before, forward agent yes here in the config file for your SSH connection, then whenever you SSH into this machine, you'll take your keys with you. I have my SSH keys from my local machine loaded into RAM on this server, and that's what allows me to clone from a private GitHub repo without having to enter my credentials. So again, you set up the SSH agent to be run in your interactive shell sessions. You create a config file for the machines you want to forward SSH keys to with forward agent yes, and then you add using this line in your bash rc, you add the path to the SSH keys that you want to add into your agent, which will allow you to work on the server as if you have the keys on the server, even though those keys are not on the server. We can use this with Ansible as well. So over here I have my Ansible playbook. And if I were to run the playbook, which I will do now, we'll see that it will clone down my root configs, which it just did successfully, despite the fact that the repo it's cloning is this repo, the private one that requires your SSH keys to access. So if we now go over to my server, one of the files we added is a git config, and there's my git config. One of the other files we added is a bash rc, and there's the aliases in my custom bash rc. And I also, in the root user on this server, have some custom aliases in the .bash rc. And I also, well, there's some other files, but that's enough to demonstrate that it works. And how did I get all that working? In order to make SSH forwarding work with Ansible, we're going to need to edit several files. Well, actually, first we'll need to set up the SSH agent on the Ansible controller, which in my case is my laptop, but with the Ansible user. We'll also need to set up the config file I showed you earlier as the Ansible user, which this config file needs to tell the Ansible user which key to use on github.com, and also forward the agent to whatever machine is being controlled by Ansible. In addition, well, we'll see this here. In addition, we'll need to, in the Ansible hosts file, add this flag here, which disables strict host key checking. And then in the Ansible config, we will need to make sure it uses the inventory file that we specified earlier. We'll need to enable transport SSH. And then in the SSH connection section, we'll need to use this long command. Basically specifies argument. Every time Ansible runs SSH in the background, it uses these arguments. It's worth noting, you cannot use the tilde here. You have to specify an absolute path to your config file, the one I showed you earlier. These other options, according to Stack Overflow anyway, are necessary to make this work. And then the key thing is forward agent yes. You also need to set up control path like this. And when you have all of this set up, then Ansible can use your SSH keys just like the interactive shell does. So if you look at what this playbook did, it clones the root configs from this private Git repo, but I didn't have to transfer my SSH keys to the server. Then it runs these shell commands. So what these shell commands do is they run a git checkout on the root branch of this repo, which effectively moves the configuration files where they need to be on the file system. Instead of my .bash rc, etc. being inside the Git repo, they're now going to be where I expect them to be on the file system because I set this up as a bare repo. And what all that is beyond the scope of this video, but there's good resources online on how to make that work. So I clone the root configs, I run these few little shell commands to move the configs where I want them to be on the file system. Then I do the same thing as the sudo user. And in this case, it's worth noting that when I become sudo, so what I do here is I become the root user and I clone the configs. And then after that, I change the ownership of the config, the Git repo, to the conner user. I need to specify when I become root that I use sudo, and then I pass these flags to sudo, which will allow my SSH keys stored in RAM to be passed across entering sudo. If you don't do that, then this will work where Ansible isn't escalating to root, but this will not work where Ansible is escalating to root. I change the ownership like I mentioned before, then I'll run the same type of git checkout commands, but this time as the conner user. It's worth noting here that because I'm escalating to root, but I need to drop down to the conner user in the shell module, I use this technique to run another shell as the conner user and run these commands explicitly as conner. And if I don't do that, the root user will wind up owning the config files as they're moved throughout the file system. And I want the conner user to own those. Then I execute a push to make sure that I have the right remote origin URL set, which allows me to, after I have all this set up, do something like this. And this is an example of why you would want to do any of this in the first place. So I SSH into my server. Let's say, well, I keep mistyping VI as V. So let's add that as an alias. Let's add an alias where v equals vi. Now, I have an alias set up here, as you can see. Well, actually, it's already here. Where conf equals get with the .files repo with the work tree of my home folder. And what that means is the version control information is stored in this out of the way folder, but the actual files we're working on are stored here. And that means that, because my bash RC is tracked in get, I can do a conf status, which is the same as issuing a get status with these arguments passed to get to tell it where to look for these files. So just issue a conf status, and oh look, my bash RC changed. So I can do a conf mid-tech a-tech-m added the alias, and I can do a conf push. And now, if I go over here and switch to the sudo user branch, because this was added as a sudo user, and I look at the bash RC, look, there's my new alias. And every time I run this Ansible playbook to build a new machine, this new version of the config file, including this alias, will be pulled down. But it gets even cooler, because if I switch to the root user, we'll notice I still have access to the SSH keys shared from the agent on my local machine. It's worth noting, the way you set that up is by adding this line to your sudoers file, env_keep plus equals ssh auth sock. When you add that, then you'll be able to use sudo to change users, and the SSH keys stored in your active environment will follow you around. And we can issue the same conf status here. Looks like we made a change to the root bash RC. Let's add the same alias. Let's do something more. Let's go over into the opt directory. And let's make a new test file. This was made in the tutorial. This could be a config file anywhere on the file system. So long as it's a file that you need to use root or sudo to access, you can create it as the root user, and then you can conf add this new file. And then, well, look, we have added this new file. So let's conf commit m, added new file, and I added a bash rc alias. There should be different commits, but whatever. And I'll commit them both, and I'll push. And now if we go over here, switch to the root user, we'll see now, in addition to the updated bash rc file, we have an opt directory with a new test file that I added. Anything I add to this Git repo as I'm configuring my server will be added to the repo here and restored. And that means I can clone the .files repo down on my local machine, edit locally, use git push up to the repo, and git pull down from the server. I can use VS Code or another editor with remote editing functionality, or I can edit directly on the server over SSH as I've done here. And so long as I remember to commit my changes, all of my changes are backed up and will be restored whenever the machine is restored. So let's watch that right now. I'm going to restore to a virtual machine snapshot from before the events of this tutorial. So let's wait for that to start up. Okay, now it is done. And just to verify that things have in fact gone back to the way they were before the changes I showed off. Now again, the snapshot that I restored to did have my SSH keys copied over. But what it didn't have is, well, it doesn't have the alias that I defined. But look at my bash RC, it doesn't have any of my aliases. It doesn't have my git config. And the same is true if I switch to the root user and we go to the opt directory where we created that file before, there's no file there. So let's run this Ansible playbook. And now the playbook is finished running. And if I look in the opt directory, look, there's my new test file. I can use my v alias to open the new test file. Actually, I need to log out and log back in, or I need to source my new config files. But now I can open the new test file. This is another edit made after the server restore, and verify that that's there. If I just edited some config files and I don't remember what I did, well, I can easily use, because again, conf is just an alias for git with the right folder locations defined. So I can use all my git commands to say, oh, now I remember what I did. I added another line to the test file. So m added another test line. and then push up. And again, none of those SSH keys necessary to do that are stored on the server itself. So now we go over here. We're looking at the old version of the test file. We just pushed an update. We refresh the page. There's the line that I just edited, which means it's backed up to this private Git repo, and it will be restored every time I restore this server in the future. So that's how you set all this up. That's how you use SSH agent forwarding to use your local SSH keys on the remote machine without actually transferring them. And you can use that combined with some fancy commands involving Git to keep track of all of your server or workstation configs and automatically restore the latest committed version of them every time you reload your machine or your server.